Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue exploring supposedly classical China era's concepts. And today's 温良恭俭让, the five virtues defined by Confucius. We come to the middle word, 恭, respect. And how Chinese express that? From the contemporary Chinese, two versions, simplified, traditional, they look the same and they look streamlined. But over here, it means together. And in fact, communism, the first word is this because it means shared, together, or common. In English too, right? Communism. It starts with common, something everybody shared. That's 共. And 共 in Chinese is made of this. Left and right hand symbol, both hands. And then we have a 20 imagery on the top of it. So it gives you a quantity. And in my theory, 20 probably is the maximum on any individual because we have 10 fingers, 10 toes, and 20 is the most we can use our body parts to count. So it's kind of maxed out individually. This 10 is made of having this 20 made of two 10s and then connected at the bottom. The 10, this cross image is a roping technology. In ancient times, we tie a knot on the rope. That means number 10. And when we have two of them side by side connected by the bottom so that they look more like a unit, that's our 20. And this character, we don't use it in a contemporary setting anymore because we can express a way more complicated numerical system, way logical way to express that. So it's out of the stage, but it ever existed in our history to have a particular one character to mean 20. So I guess 20 is special. As I said, it's like 20 of our fingers, toes add up together. That's kind of max out. And 20 paired with, this is the heart symbol at the very bottom. In contemporary Chinese, you cannot see a shape of heart at all. Like this, almost like a lobster looking thing, totally disappeared in here. In fact, it means small, this concept of small, and add one additional line there. Like, what's the point? I never knew. I never understand. What is that? Until when I see in 2,000 years ago's dictionary, this is a heart symbol. And heart symbol is how ancient people understand how the heart works. It's basically a pump, right? It has a incoming tube. The blood pumped with outgoing tube. So in and out works like a pump, except the heart itself is an organ. It's bio-powered. So it has its own bloodline there to provide energy for the heart to pump. So 3 tubes attached to the heart. That's a super simplification of the anatomy of the heart. And this heart symbol was abstractly into this, and I'm imagining this 3 dots simply means the 3 tubes going in there. In any case, whoever did that didn't do a good job of rendering the original meaning. But look at the original. This pump, this is hard to render. It's hard to write. So I guess this dictionary compiler did a good job of handwriting it down in such a almost like a perfect shape, almost symmetrical, right? The left and right tubes in a kind of aesthetically pleasing way to capture what that is. So this heart symbol paired with 20 hands in the air. Okay, I almost want to project a contemporary rock concert when people get high, and it's a kind of a group activity. It's totally a groupie behavior that inspired and in sync of the same music. People raise their hands, I don't know, they do this or no. Right, do this. And happen to be 3 fingers, but Chinese represent our hand symbol with 3-finger hand which I suspect that the middle three fingers are simplified into one. But you have this pinky, the thumb, they are like the outer, the fringe fingers that kind of spread out further, and the middle three are just in the middle. And so Chinese represent hand symbol with three fingers. And this Chinese is also a first person perspective. So in this 2D frame, you see the hand reaching from left and bottom left and right corner as if it's your first person, you reaching your hand into the frame, just like what's represented in a computer game, right? So you have both hands over there and 20 of them, and altogether it means common, means shared, means many people reaching out toward the same thing, like in a rock concert, or they share the same music, share the same vision, share the same endeavor. They want to do the same thing. So that's a shared, that's a common. And then common heart. That becomes respect. So how does jump going? Okay, my understanding is, especially in today's psychological theory, and I'm not sure if actually Chinese, ancient time Chinese who created language based on the ancient time human behavior in a particular context era of then people, if they have some common behavior and then we have the heart symbol in there, does it mean you as one individual, you can reason from your own thinking, your own behavior, your own pains, sufferings, joys, you can kind of what's the word? Extrapolate to predict how other people may feel, may going through. So therefore, it's more relatable. It's more you can sympathize with other people. So this common or shared heart, almost like our shared humanity. We all understand each other to a certain degree. Therefore, we respect each other, what they going through. That's one reading. Second reading, this 20 hands simply means, okay, we're looking at the same direction, reaching out to the same goal, hearing the same music, right? Or marching to the same drum beat, so to speak. That commonality. Under that, commonality is probably emphasized here. But respect in today's concept would be not only commonality, but we also realize under that surface of commonality, like we humans, anatomy-wise, we look the same, right? Anatomy-wise, layout, even if they're different, like different faces, but structurally, we look the same. But individual grow story, our origin story, our genetic composition, our upbringing, all varies, to a certain degree. So there are some distance, very agreed, different degrees of distance or difference between people. This recognition of individuality underneath that commonality. And you plug a heart in there is try to appreciate not only the commonality, but the individuality of each other. Because the way you operate, even if you have shared humanity, may be different to a certain varying degree to another person. So you kind of, in contemporary reading, it's like you respect each other's path, each other's behavior, each other's boundary, that you don't kind of super impose your own value, your own behavior mechanism, how you think things should turn out onto other persons. And that in contemporary understanding is we give each other space. We let them be them, right? In English, we often say, you be you. Live, let live. So I do my thing and you just behave differently. And I give that as, a common understanding of we have the commonality, 20 hands reaching out, but also we have this individual differences. And we respect that. We respect especially the boundary. Like you don't cross it. You don't think I'm doing better. I know better. I'm standing on a higher moral ground. Therefore, I can judge you, criticize you, try to change you in any way. And that's the contemporary reading of what respect is. And I think Confucius here is mostly emphasizing the commonality between individuals, the shared part, this commonness among humans, our heart. So heart to heart. And as a groupie environment, it's 20 hearts beating together or beating the same way. Maybe not at the same tempo, but we're beating nonetheless. That mechanism, how we operate, is the same. Therefore, we can use that reasonably deduce that we can respect each other simply because we kind of understand each other's user manual, so to speak. Therefore, we can respect where you come from. All right. 恭敬, respect and salute. So some people say 恭 is more behavioral level, like, groupie behavior, versus a salute is more like awe-inspired, like you really admire somebody. It's like to the heart, like interior respect, versus 恭 is more exterior, behaviorally displayed respect. So combined together, either inside or outside, you respect somebody. So 恭敬 is a Chinese kind of duplicated way to say respectfully. 恭维, this wei means, well, it's made of a thread. So thread, in ancient times, when we have limited tools, or we max out how we're going to creatively use thread. So wei in here, it almost like you're guarding something, kind of using thread as a safe net, so to speak. In this case, I haven't checked this word yet, but this case, the right side is a bird, and then you have a thread. So you almost like you try to capture that bird, you keep the bird in a net so it doesn't fly away. You kind of keep a control of something. So that's wei. And 恭维, you respect somebody and then you keep them in control. So how does that work? How can you respect somebody while at the same time try to keep them in control? Well, it's even more like, I guess it's a kind of a humanity unique thing. You try to, in today's fancy word, you try to upper manage. So you try to manage somebody who is in a higher power position than you by giving them compliments, by flattering them so that they feel good about themselves, therefore kind of treat you kinder or give you more favor, something like that. So this respect in that sense is definitely exterior behavior, that you show your respect, but your actually the intention is to safeguard yourself. So that's a Chinese very interesting reading of a human psyche. That's 恭维. 恭听, we have this listen. So now we listen with respect. And I would relate it to today's English world, like the listening skill. We all mention like listening skill because it is something you have to train up for, to pay attention, non-judging, and really give them your full attention. So first off, today's attention management is becoming challenging for everybody given the social media era. But also this interpersonal skill, because of ever since COVID times, we're used to like being on our own, like social distancing, right? Social distancing means almost like a social disconnecting, can lead to social disconnecting. And therefore, this listening is a super social activity. How we can regain that skill to tap into each other, to really sympathetic listening to each other, to kind of non-judgingly listen to give them your full attention, kind of listen. And that's 恭听. It's definitely like not looking at your phone in a meeting, kind of what Jamie Dimon ranted about of their employees, I guess younger employees' behavior, because they're so digitally connected. Therefore, they're kind of ignoring the physical world, what's really happening in front of their eyes in the same room. When they're in a meeting, they may display the behavior of paying attention somewhere else, and that's the anti-gongting. So gongting is like full attention, respectfully, non-judgingly listen. And I think it's a super relatable to today's listening skill definition. So here we go. 恭, respect. And here, graffiti probably shows we respect nature, we respect, our context of a human ecosystem where we depend on our lives on, and respect all the other earthlings, not just humans, way more than humans. And that's 恭. Thank you for your time. See you another day.